Welcome to this edition of the Business Spotlight interview, where I'm joined by Ryan Anderson, Managing Director of Pendle Doors. Good morning.
Good morning, Paul. How are you? You okay?
Very well, thanks you. How are you?
Good. Yeah, very well. Very well. Thank you.
Brilliant. Well, as you know, Ryan, these Business Spotlight interviews are designed with two things in mind. One is to educate all the listeners about you and your business, but also to give them some hints and tips on running their own businesses. So I thought we'd get started just by finding out a little bit more about Pendle Doors, the history of the company, and your business journey from how you started in Pendle Doors to where you are now.
Certainly. Yeah. So Pendle Doors, it's a family-run business. So my parents have full ownership of it. They purchased the business Pendle Doors 29 years ago. Started out with just my dad and two employees, basically making just hardwood timber front doors. Fast forward 29 years, we're now 40 plus strong employees, and we're heavily involved in the fire door industry, providing basically door sets and joinery items to the construction and subcontractor trade, basically. For myself, I've now been working within the business for 13 plus years. Starting from when I was at high school, I'd come in during summer holidays, half terms, do a bit on the shop floor. So shop floor work, working, making the doors, things like that. And then when I went and started full-time employment here, started in sales, done the sales role, and then did some transport, managing the transport department. I've done the production manager's role and went from that to an operations director. Did that for 2 or 3 years, and then last year got basically promoted to the MD role. So yeah, it's been 13 years of all good fun.
Well, congratulations. You know, some major changes really in terms of some of the roles that you've undertaken there, and stepping up to the MD's role must be another massive change for you to take on that strategic view of the way forward rather than working in the business on a daily basis in those
Yes.
technical. How have you found that?
Good fun. Obviously, like, as you say, so working on the business rather than in it is a sort of a thought pattern change and a different way of looking at the business. But certainly good fun. I mean, we've we're going in the right direction, and it's been quite a busy year already. Looking at new premises for the company and looking at the sort of the 5-year plan as to where we want to be. It's good. It sets your tone, sets your mind, and gives not only that, gives the employees the vision to know what as a company we want to do. So so far enjoyable, which is good.
That's good. You've still got a smile on your face, which is
Yeah.
obviously your company's worked through COVID. Were there any business changes that you and the senior management team had considered before COVID, which COVID made a necessity?
Yeah, I think probably, as a lot of people will resonate with, I think the flexible working from home, we never did it beforehand. It was something that had been discussed and asked of and thought about, but never really pushed through. So obviously this is for the office staff, not the shop floor. But yeah, the working from home. So that obviously, again, as everyone knows, accelerated that at a rate of knots. And in all fairness, it actually worked really well, and we've continued to allow it even post COVID. So it's had a positive impact, definitely.
Mm. And you know, it's only a relatively short time since you became MD, but what would you say has been your biggest learning as a managing director since you took it on?
Good question. Planning is essential. Plan as much as possible and try not, well, it's trying to have the foresight, isn't it? And a crystal ball to see what's going to happen. But, as long as you plan as much as possible, you're on the track, or you're on the right track. Obviously, things go wrong and things don't happen as you wish. But if you've got as much of a plan together as possible, at least you can try and enable it to go as right, as easy as possible.
Yeah, I think you're right. Having some goals in mind is really important, because if you don't know where you're going, how on earth are you ever going to get there? and building a great plan. Obviously, plans sometimes need to change, as COVID-19 showed us. There were a few people ripping the plans up in March 2020. But as long as you've got your goal set in mind, you can alter your plans. That's the thing. Talking about having goals, what are your aspirations for the company for the next 5 years or so?
So funny to say about plans and it possibly changing. So last year, sort of one of my first jobs when I stepped in, we did basically the company 5-year vision. Within, I'm going to say 3 weeks, that was ripped up because it was out of date because we'd totally changed what we're going to be doing. So it's certainly, like you say, you can plan and it didn't last long. But no, the overall, again, we've revisited it again very recently. The plan for 5 years is to essentially double our turnover, to get to 10 million plus turnover within the 5 years. This year, we're taking on an additional manufacturing site, which is good news. So that's going through. So the plan's in place to expand, but expand in a controlled manner, whilst keeping ultimately the key word and the often dirty word of keeping the profit. So that's what it's about. Doing it, but making the money.
Businesses exist to make profit. So
100%.
I wouldn't see that as a dirty word at all. It's important. Whether you invest that back into the company or take it as shareholder dividends, whatever you have to do, then businesses exist to make money, to give people the life that they dreamt of when they went into business. So in terms of that 5-year plan, then, what do you see as your biggest challenges along the way?
Good question. Obviously, the current one is the additional manufacturing site and trying to get that up and running. Obviously, that's the here and now. Going forward, the biggest hurdle that we see is making sure that we've got the sales to support it and getting that the structure in place, the sales structure in place to make sure it can be supported. So again, it comes back to the planning. We've got the plan in place to what needs to be and where people need to be added throughout the business to make sure that it's great saying we want to double, but getting that fixed and firm plan to enable it. So that's the biggest, I suppose, obstacle. But hopefully, again, touch wood, we're on the right direction, planning for it.
Yeah, people are important, obviously. What you thought? Yeah. There's been a lot been said about the current employment situation, nationally and here in the Northwest. What are your thoughts on the current employment situation as far as you guys are concerned?
Hard. So again, obviously expanding, we need extra staff. Trying to get extra staff is proving difficult. It's a competitive. Just that the work environment, any work is competitive to get people through the door, and we're finding it particularly hard to get key skilled staff in. In the Northwest area, as you'll know, there's BAE, that's Rolls-Royce, people like that take those skilled and ultimately can pay higher than what the private companies can, such as ourselves. But it's hard, but we're trying.
Yeah, it's interesting. We have a lot of clients in our portfolio of businesses that we work with who when we start working with them have similar challenges around employees and recruitment.
Yeah.
In terms of, obviously, once you've got people, you want to keep them.
Yeah.
What do you offer your employees in terms of their own learning and development and growth?
Yeah, so again, as part of sort of the, I suppose, 5-year plan, what's happening this year, we're going to be doing a succession planning exercise with all the employees, but their own growth. So we've got a number of our employees on courses at the minute, enabling them for their future to step up into management roles. Any opportunity we can to either send people out to, as daft as it sounds, exhibitions or anything like that, we will send them, because to us our employees are key, absolutely key. Without them, I eat obviously chicken and egg, but without our employees we can't sell. So we do what we can to help and ultimately look after our employees. So on the job training, whether it be, like I say, courses or physically learning a new skill within the factory, that's big, very big for us.
And actually the cost of recruitment or to replace an employee who leaves is high. People don't realise quite how much it costs to replace somebody.
Yes.
So finding the right people first time down and then keeping them is crucial. And it's obviously your team who grow the business for you. You know, you need a great business.
Yeah.
If you had any advice for your 18-year-old self, I can see that you're not much older than that now, Ryan, but you know,
if only.
If you have any advice for your 18-year-old self just moving into business or into a career for the first time, what would it be?
Looking back now, so I've over the years done quite a lot of courses where you meet different people and go into sort of focus groups with different companies. I think spending as much time, not as much time, but as often as you can, seeing and speaking to different people and different companies in whatever sector it is to understand how they run, how they work. Because the amount of ideas I've pinched from might be a completely different sector, but you learn so much from other people. So I suppose that interaction with, whether it be business owners, managers within, you know, that the key people within other companies would be, I'd have done that earlier. I've done it a lot, but I've done it, like I say, 18, go and have a day out and speak to people, really. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And obviously we talked about the learning and development for your people. How about your own in learning and development? Are there any particular books or podcasts or videos or particular sort of resources that you'd recommend for people to listen to or read?
So I've been one that do sort of courses through Lancaster University, the management school. So I've done 2 or 3 with them over the years. Again, really good. Podcast wise, when I was in the operations director role, I was very heavily. So one of my main tasks was sort of employee engagement and things like that. So I think it's Jake Humphreys, high performance. Yeah, he obviously different people that he gets on, but it's all about that team and how to get the best out of teams, which again go back to employees are vital. That's what's going to make us and help us grow. So that's one I'd say.
We recommend all our clients listen to the High Performance Podcast with Jake and Damien. They're absolutely brilliant. They appeared at our BizX conference, national conference that we have last year as well, and they're absolutely superb. Brilliant. Okay, thank you very much. Just so everybody knows, who are your ideal kind of clients? So what kind of clients are you looking for out there in the marketplace at the moment?
So like I say, we're more sort of construction based. So main contractors, subcontractors, joinery companies. So all our products, it's timber based fire door products, which we will provide into essentially any building that needs a door. So ultimately anybody that wants a door, but mainly the contractor main trade.
Brilliant. We're almost out of time. I don't know where the time goes in these interviews. It seems to fly by. So just one final question for you, just as a quick fire question. Who's the first person that comes to mind when you think about success?
Probably on a personal level, to be honest, probably my parents. Taking it from the 2 employees to the 40 plus and how we are today, I think I'd have to say they've been very successful. They've built it up to where it is. So I'll go with my parents.
Brilliant, good stuff. And how do people get in touch with you or find out more about Pendle Doors, Ryan?
So obviously onto our website, pendledores.co.uk. That'll give a bit of information. Currently having a new one built. So hopefully in a few weeks our new one will be live. Or
for some reason you just went quiet then. I couldn't hear you for a second.
Sorry, it muted then. Sorry, Pendle Doors, the website. I'll tell people to go straight to the website.
Brilliant. Okay, that's lovely. Ryan, thank you so much for your time. I always appreciate everybody who comes on, as does all our listeners and viewers who watch these podcasts. Good luck and best of luck for the rest of this year. Hope you have a brilliant year, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. No worries at all. Thank you very much, Paul.